Joining us now here on Hoops 360, she's Cassandra Negley. I am Caroline Fenton, and Sandy Brondello, the inaugural head coach of the Toronto Tempo, joins us on the show. Coach, thanks so much for your time. And I do want to talk about all things Toronto, your off-season plan, the CBA. So many pivotal moments of the WNBA are, within the next several weeks. But before we look forward, I do want to look back. It was just a couple of months ago where your contract in New York was not extended. Now that we have had a couple of months to kind of think on it, your future in Toronto is solidified. How do you feel about how things ended with the Liberty?
Look, I think first of all, I had 4 great years there. We were able to bring the first WNBA championship to New York, and that's something I'll always be proud of. I'm very grateful for the opportunities that I had in New York. But look, we're in a professional landscape, aren't we? If people don't think the results weren't good enough, and that's a part of it. And obviously a little sad to see that door close, but excited about the next one.
And as you open up this next door, obviously coaching the Liberty this past season, fresh off of a championship, a team full of vets, versus going into this upcoming season with Toronto, where you have a completely new team, an expansion team joining the mix. How different are your approaches from last year versus this incoming year?
It's really different. Number one, we have no players, so we're exploring the market, and we want to put the best team possible that wants to represent Canada, being the first WNBA team. So we're very, very excited about that. I've never coached an expansion team, and I think that's what really intrigued me when I took this position. And it's not much we can do at the moment. That we can just strategize and plan and scout as much as we can, and once free agency, the CBA is done and we can start free agency, we're excited about that. So I don't know what the team will look like. We want to aim big, but we want to make sure that obviously we want talented players. That's a part of it. But we want to make sure that, there are always good people as well. And, we can build a really strong culture and our new legacy with the new team. So I'm excited about the challenge.
You mentioned in your presser that free agency is a big deal. And you kind of mentioned free agents quite a few times. I'm wondering at this point, is that more of a focus for you maybe than a potential expansion draft?
Yeah, look, I think we're a little bit different than the Golden State, because with the CBA, all the players had planned for their contracts to be up. So, you're only allowed to pick one unrestricted free agent, I would imagine, and you're not going to be able to do a lot in the expansion draft. So it's going to look different than what Golden State could pick from, because they could pick from players that obviously were under contract, and that's a little bit different when you're a free agent. Still some good players. Yeah, obviously we're doing a lot of work on the expansion draft, and we want to, make sure that we're putting a competitive team on the floor. We know that's always hard as an expansion team, but I think Golden State showed what's possible, and that's what we want to aim for as well. But with us, like up to 75 to 80% of the players being free agents, so it's only natural that we are looking at that free agent market and looking at players that we feel that would want to make that jump to Canada. It's going to be very exciting. I've heard summer in Toronto is pretty great, so hopefully we're going to entice a lot of players over there and start this new journey.
You had kind of mentioned what you've done and what you're able to do in the past month when it comes to strategy and scouting. Obviously, CBA has thrown everything into flux. We don't know the rules for the expansion draft. Can you get into more specifics about what you've been able to do on the job for the past month?
Yeah, just that. Obviously CBA, that's above my pay grade. So hopefully we get done sooner than later, and we're hopeful of that. And that's all we can aim for. I'm always going to look on the positive side. I think you know me, Cass.
I do know that, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to just you control the controllables. It's the same thing I say to the players. All we can do is control what we can control right now, and then that is scouting in the college and make strategizing, because the expansion draft is going to be a little bit different for us because we are competing against another team. So the Portland Fire. So, we have to strategize a little bit. So it's been fun trying to work out what that really looks like. And then you obviously just the free agents, but getting our eyes on as many players as we can. And we just have to, be patient. We have to do our work, because once CBA is negotiated, we will probably hit the ground running. So we have to be ready.
Yeah.
Nobody ever said growth was easy, and growth in the W, as exciting as it is, definitely comes with some complications. When you look ahead to roster construction, it could be so easy as to just pick the five best players out there and hope for the best. You know, and I know, we all know that's not necessarily how it goes. You need to find five starters that work well together, an entire roster that can mesh well together. What are some traits that you look for to find that balance of a competitive team, but also a team and a locker room that meshes and fits?
Yeah, and it's a big thing. I've always spoken. I'm really big on culture. You've heard me talk about that a lot in my interviews, and I think that's important. I mean, the closeness of these players off the court, I think it really helps. And I've seen it firsthand. Australian Opals, I've seen it. New York Liberty, and it's fun when that comes together and players are can play selfless, but everyone accepts their roles and does it to the best of their ability. So, yeah, but it's when you're planning, it's obviously you want to aim big. You want to get players that you think that would complement how we want to play. And obviously, my system's not driven around what I think is best. Once we get the players, we'll put it in place. But it's modern basketball. We want to have a toughness. We want a versatility about us at both ends of the floor. Then. We want shooters, we want playmakers, you name it. You can one-on-one players. So it's just putting the puzzle together about what kind of players complement each other. Now we've got to aim big. We're an expansion team. We have no players, so we don't know what that looks like. Which players are really, really interested in for us for coming, and hope to talk to as many players as we can as we build out this roster.
Obviously, you're in a much different situation than Golden State, and you've given the examples of that. But have you tapped into them at all, or really has the Tempo looked at what they've done to maybe replicate it or take some different lessons from it?
Yeah, I thought they did a great job. They went international, I suppose. I think and I do think the WNBA will come more international. I think there's so many, especially with expansion, with so many untapped potential over there. So we all got eyes. I think you'll see a lot of teams over there scouring and looking around for scouting all those players over there that haven't never been to the WNBA. But yeah, I'm sure. Look, we've seen what Golden State did. I thought Natalie did a fantastic job coaching that team, and you see Veronica Burton put him in. People just need the right opportunity and the right role, and they can really fulfill their potential. But I thought they had a really tough team, had an athletic team, and they played a really fun, entertaining style. So with the players that they have. So obviously we can learn from what they did, but our challenge is we're competing against another team in expansion, and then obviously free agency is, there's a lot of free agents. So we just got to sell them of the vision, what we have in Toronto.
It's so much of that Golden State inaugural year was so impressive. And one of those things was the fact that they were selling out home games, that Golden State embraced that team. You've mentioned the Canadian market a couple of times. How have you seen Toronto and Canadian sports fans embrace the Tempo, knowing that fan support is such a big part of growth?
Yeah, no, obviously our arena's already been sold out. So that's fun to see. I love that. It's been I've been really overwhelmed with the support from the fans. People that have been reaching out to me. I am on social media, but I'm not always on social media, so I'm not reading all the messages and stuff like that. Probably for my own mental health. So it's just been overwhelming, the support and just the media attention that the team is getting. And I'm not in Toronto at the moment, or transition there before the season, but when I am there, just the people that are all talking about the Tempo, and it really is a sports city. All their big arenas are right beside each other. They support each other, and you just saw the Blue Jays, and what that did for their city as well was really exciting.
That we are selling out. You've been asked this a million times, right? Like, we're selling out arenas in the WNBA. You come from New York. That's an incredible environment. I was thinking, though, I've been talking to people about the CBA and that first one in 99. You were a player around that time. Can you just, what stands out to you about negotiating that first one as you're thinking about, I know it's above your pay grade, but players talking about this one?
Yeah. Well, it's way different, isn't it? I mean, we were just a very young league, and when I came in 1998, so I can't really remember it too much. I was only getting $19,000 being a first round pick in 1998. So I don't. It wasn't massive money there, but it just shows the growth of our league and where it's come from. Even though I thought we had obviously some legendary players back in the early days that were trailblazers for this league and have got us to this moment now. And the players, the standard of the play and the individual players and their brands just keeps getting bigger and better. And for me, for being in the league for so long, I think 27 of the 30 years going into next year it's just been fun to be a part of. And because in the end, the winner, women's basketball we're getting the recognition. That it deserves. These players are getting the recognition. They're getting paid better, obviously. It will be in that regard. But with what they're doing off the court as well, and they're more than just the players. I think they're just using their voice for change as well.
Has mentioned it. You've played in this league. You've been in this league. The biggest story in the W right now, CBA negotiations. You've been through that. How do you feel like that influences your coaching style, having been here and played in this league yourself?
Yeah, look, I think it gives me credibility. I've been there, done that, what the players have. I've been in the mix of it. I've been in different roles. So I think that allows me an opportunity to relate to all players. I've played all around the world. Those things really matter in here. And, we talk about what kind of style you are. Yeah, I suppose I am a player's coach because I was a player. I understand what they're going through. But I also love what I'm doing as a coach. My job is not just to create basketball players, it's to create people, develop people, not create them, develop them. And I love being in that environment. And they help me grow as well, too. So it goes two ways. Look, I think I've had pretty good success in this league as a coach, but I know I want more, and I know I can keep getting better. And I'll lean into the players as well too. I'm always asking players about what they're thinking and how we could be doing things. And I'm not a dictator coach. I definitely know that. So I want the players their freedom, put them in spots so that they can succeed and show the great qualities that they do have.
Do you have any examples you can share of helping develop the people instead of just the player? And you don't have to name names in this if there's anything that's really stuck with you.
No, I suppose there's been a lot. I've coached obviously in Australia as well, at the highest level, and I feel hopefully if you'd speak to the players I have coached, they would tell them that how I've impacted them in a positive light. And I try to pour into them. I think I give them as much confidence as I can, because I think that's important. I think when someone believes in you, you can go that extra mile. I think I build relationships really well to show that I do really love and care as a part of my coaching style, so that I can I hold them accountable, and they know that's for a reason when I do that. Going back to Brittany Griner, I suppose, was the very first there. I just really loved our relationship. We're still close to this very day, and just how, poured into her, trying to develop her, and, just love being around her. But there's been so many. I mean, Penny Taylor, Lauren Jackson, it's been a lot, and it doesn't matter how young or old they are. I mean, I just try and connect to them on their level and get to know them on a personal level, because I think that gives me, and they get to know me. It goes both ways. So, because what you see is what you get. This is who I am. I'm very authentic, and I say that all the time. My personality doesn't change. Yes, I can still get angry on the court, but I'm always about solution based. I'm not blaming, and I'll take all the blame. And I think that's how it should be. But real special relationships which are lifelong. And I think as a player, that's the biggest thing for me. My friends that I played with in Australia, I just got back from Australia. I mean, they travel with me around on all my scouting trips here too. It's that camaraderie, and that, you go through so much that's really special. And this is what the game of basketball gives us.
Yeah.
And you've had so many wonderful experiences in the US, overseas, whatever it might be. How do you feel like your experience and your specific style as a coach fits being the head coach of an expansion team in a growing league?
Yeah, look, obviously, number one, I've obviously won some championships in this league, so hopefully players they should already know what I'm about. I think you've seen growth of the players that I have had. I've had great success. I've been I'm going to put pressure on myself here. I've been in the playoffs every year. I've been as a head coach, and that's hard because our league is really, really talented. Now, I wish I had won more than 2 championships, but there's always, you got to aim for 3. But I think players will be embraced to play a really fun role, and I'll give them the confidence that they can go out there to be their very best. So, but also enjoy the journey, because what we do is hard. I want them to embrace hard. I want them, yes, we'll be uncomfortable, but you got to be uncomfortable to get comfortable. But I think my coaching style, look, I'm going to obviously adapt a system that fits to the play, especially on the offensive side. I think, opening up, I want really athletic and versatile players that can do a lot of different things, not just one-dimensional. And but on the defensive end, they're the non-negotiables, aren't they? That's always the toughness. We want to be a great defensive team and do all those little things well and be connected. So I'm excited. Like I said, I'm excited just to do something that I haven't done before. So, and it's a challenge for me. And I'm not in my 30s or 40s, plus to my 60s. So, but I always also have this great passion to continue for me to continue to develop and evolve. And I think the game does that. But I'm excited.
Every time I was in Brooklyn, I would hear about books, right? There was like the player book club a couple of years ago, and Yara Savali was talking about books. You have so many behind you. Is there one that you tap into a lot, especially in terms of growing as a coach and a person and taking on these different challenges?
Yeah, not really. I haven't read all those books. Yes, my accumulation over the years with my husband. Look, I really like when former head coaches write books and about their journey. I think that's where I tap into. The last 3 years, I'm in a leadership group. It's called ALEDA, ALEDA Connect, and it's an Australian base, but it's worldwide. So I'm in a leadership group. There's 5 head coaches on it, and we get to create a community and talk and help each other, because regardless of the sport, that we go through the same things. So I kind of lean into more the human element of the connections. But yeah, the books are helpful on that. A lot of them are leadership books or mental training, because that's a part of what we do as well. We're not just coaches; we're more than just coaches.
Do you?
I'll put you on.
Yeah, I have a quick one, because you mentioned Olaf, and I've always wondered this. Like, do you guys have like divisions, like from 12 to 2 during practice? We will talk about practice, but after 2, like, we're done.
No, not at all. We probably should. We've been together for 30 years, and it's great. Like, we haven't always coached together, and it's only in New York that we've coached in the WNBA together. He was a consultant here in Phoenix because he was coaching in Russia at the time. And he'll come with me to Toronto, obviously. He's a great coach. He's just taken over as a German national coach. So there's an opportunity that we'll obviously play each other at the World Cup and the Olympics. I say bring it on. People will probably say, oh, how's that going to go? But, we're competitive, but we love what we do. And I think that passion, that is great for us. We talk basketball probably too much. We're always, he's in the other office, I'm in this office, and we kind of, pass when we're at our house in Phoenix here. And but we're real collaborators. We think differently. We're not the same kind of coach as how we are. I think you've met him, Cass. So we're different. He's German, and I'm Australian. So there you go. But our connection works. I think. Obviously, other than basketball, we have our children that we talk about a lot, and other things that we do like. So it's not all basketball, but yeah, of course, it's a lot, and that's okay, because it's what we do and what we love.
A real life love in basketball. Love it. Coach Sandy Brondello, thank you so much for your time, and good luck with building your roster and with the upcoming season. Thanks so much.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.